Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Epic Sports Broadcasting Network for today's edition of Heartland Championship Wrestling. My name is Dave Little. Thank you so much for joining us here in the Dave Cave for action from the Atlantic Wrestling Federation, live from the Sportatorium in Tampa, Florida, with an exciting house show filled with surprises. The show started off with a special interview segment featuring the one and only James J. Dillon, manager of the Four Horsemen. And the Four Horsemen have been embroiled in a feud with the stable run by CAL VAL, the Val's Pals, also known as the CAL Crew. And most recently, it was CAL VAL's man CURT HENNIG who won the Dixie Heavyweight Championship, the secondary title here in the AWF, with a victory over Tully Blanchard. And surprisingly, it was Dillon who signed the rematch, not for Blanchard, but for Barry Windham. And that created some ripples among the Horsemen, as Blanchard was expecting to wrestle in that title match. Windham has his eyes on the Atlantic Wrestling Federation title held by the Destroyer. But Arn Anderson talked sense into the Horsemen and seemed to have gotten them all on the same page. So tonight we will see a match for the Dixie Heavyweight Championship as CURT HENNIG defends against Barry Windham. And that will be a showdown of CAL VAL versus James J. Dillon representing the Horsemen. And in our main event, the Road Warriors are set to defend the Atlantic Tag Team Championship against the challenge of Bobby Heenan's men, Big John Studd and Ken Patera. But first, we have a match ready in the ring as Mr. Wrestling 2 moves out against another member of the CAL Crew, Rick Rude, the Ravishing One. So let's get things started as we say hello in the chat room to Thomas Morgan. Welcome to this afternoon's broadcast of Heartland Championship Wrestling. Rick Rude moving out against Mr. Wrestling 2 to get things underway here. And the opening initiative role goes to Rick Rude. And Rude will start things off with a double thrust to the throat, catching Mr. Wrestling 2 coming in for the opening lockup. And Rude is going to follow that up with a drop kick, but Mr. Wrestling 2 steps out of the way of that one. And it is Wrestling 2 who is in control. He fires a series of clubbing blows to the midsection of Rick Rude, backing him into the corner. He follows that up with a head scissor takedown. Rick Rude first to his feet after that. And it is Rude who fires back with a forearm smash across the chest of Mr. Wrestling 2, and he got all of that one. Down goes Mr. Wrestling 2. Quickly, Rick Rude is in control, much to the delight of CAL VAL at ringside. Rude picks up Mr. Wrestling 2 and slams him down hard with a pile driver. Oh my goodness, Rude asserting himself early on here. He is the stronger of the two men in the match, and he has taken control. And he is going to follow that up with a whip to the ropes. Into the ropes goes Mr. Wrestling 2 as he gets to his feet. And it is Rude who sets himself too early. And he takes a stunning knee to the side of the head from Wrestling 2 coming off the ropes. And Rick Rude is down. Mr. Wrestling 2 sets up his man. And he is going to pitch Rick Rude out of the ring. Will we see some shenanigans at ringside? Rude is outside of the ring. And they're going to battle it out at ringside. Both these men are about average performers on the out of the ring chart. And it is Mr. Wrestling 2 who wins the brawl on the arena floor with a hard chop to the chest of Rick Rude, and then slamming Rick Rude back first into the steel ring steps. So Mr. Wrestling 2 is in control as Thomas Morgan cheers on from ringside. And it is an atomic drop for Mr. Wrestling 2. Rude is down. Mr. Wrestling 2 goes for the cover, but Rude kicks out of that easily. And we have our first fatigue token of the match. Wrestling 2 is in control. CAL VAL looking concerned at ringside. Here is $1 million knee lift, slamming into the head of Rude. Rude barely kicks out of that one, and the match will continue. And now CAL VAL at ringside showing intense concern. Wrestling 2 is going to attempt a body slam. That's a choice C roll. He is going to need a roll of 7 or lower to execute that. But on a roll of 9, Rude overpowers Mr. Wrestling 2, and it is Rude who takes control with a whip to the ropes of his own. 2 couldn't get him up. Rude whips him to the ropes. Off the ropes comes Mr. Wrestling 2, and he is greeted by a hard back elbow from Rude. Down goes Rude. Excuse me, down goes Wrestling 2. Rude follows that up with a big clothesline. Yeah, and that sends Mr. Wrestling 2 through the ropes and out of the ring. Wrestling 2 on the arena floor, and he is going to be forced to work his way back into the ring to beat the 10 count, where Rude is ready and waiting to do some more damage. Oh, and there's another pile driver from Rick Rude. He didn't get all of that one, but he got enough to keep control of this match. And Rude is going to follow that up with a hard knee lift into the midsection. Rude punishing Wrestling 2 with some heavy blows. And here's another big clothesline from Rude. He's going to go for the cover. But on a roll of 12, Mr. Wrestling 2 kicks out of that one with authority. As we say hello to Steve Tower in the chat room. Pleasure to have you here, my friend. And as Mr. Wrestling 2 with CAL VAL at ringside is battling, or excuse me, Rick Rude with CAL VAL in his corner is battling Mr. Wrestling 2. Rude in control. He's going to go for a top rope knee drop. This will require a death jump roll, and on a roll of 3, oh my goodness, on a roll of 3, Rude goes to the top rope. Mr. Wrestling 2 catches him and pitches him down to the mat. Rude a little slow getting to the top rope there. Wrestling 2 caught him, and down goes Rude. And Rude is going to follow that up with another atomic drop, and Rude goes down and stays down. Rude is hurt here. Wrestling 2 with another atomic drop. Rude finally gets to his feet, but he is a little worn down here as 2 catches him with a front face lock and tries to take Rude down to one knee. Technical move there by Mr. Wrestling 2, and now he goes to a head scissors and takes Rick Rude over and down to the canvas. Mr. Wrestling 2 using some of that technical wizardry. Another head scissors keeps Rude down on the canvas as CAL VAL cheers on her man from ringside as Mr. 2 retains that head scissors. And now 2 is going to go for a high back suplex up, over, and down to the canvas hard goes the ravishing one. Wrestling 2 first to his feet, and he is going to fire another series of clubbing blows, this time across the lower back of Rick Rude that has already been punished. And Mr. Wrestling 2 continues to do damage. Another front face lock keeps control for Mr. Wrestling 2. He's trying to slow the tempo down here and fire some more clubbing blows into the low back of Rude. This time Rude is going to fire back. And oh, he just reaches up and rakes the face of Mr. Wrestling 2 to put an end to that little rally. Referee admonishing Rick Rude. He couldn't care less about the opinion of the referee. But Rude follows that up and sends Mr. 2 out with a whip to the turnbuckle. Wrestling 2 goes to the turnbuckle, but oh, on a roll of 4, it is Mr. Wrestling 2 who bounces forward off the turnbuckle and catches Rude with a skull-crushing running lariat. Down goes Rude to the canvas hard. Rude is down. He gets to one knee as Mr. 2 moves in for more punishment. And again, it is the head scissor takeover that takes Rude back down to the canvas. 2 slowing things down here as we say hello to Captain Carl, now in the chat room. Wrestling 2 in control, and he goes with a leg cannonball, doing damage to the knee of Rude. And he follows that up with another big back suplex. He's going to go for a cover, and Rude kicks out of that one, but CAL VAL has seen enough. CAL VAL is going to intervene here as Rude has hit 3 fatigue tokens. And on a roll of 5, in desperation, CAL VAL pulls the referee out of the ring. Roll disqualification 5. And there will not be a disqualification here. Rude recovers, and Rude now takes the attack against the distracted Mr. Wrestling 2. So CAL VAL works her magic, and that puts Rude in control of this match. And he is going to pitch Mr. Wrestling 2 out of the ring for a brawl at ringside. Back and forth they go with this ringside brawl. And it is Mr. Wrestling 2 who again takes control, grabbing Rude by the arm and sending him with an Irish whip into the steel security railing. Mr. 2 acquitting himself nicely. And now it is another atomic drop as we head back into the ring. And Rude's going to climb right back out of the ring. Are we going to see some shenanigans here? No, we're not going to see any shenanigans here quite yet. Rude is out of the ring. And it is Mr. Wrestling 2 who's going to take this opportunity for a breather within the safety of the squared circle, forcing Rude to climb back into the ring ahead of the 10 count. Rude with a quick word from CAL VAL as he returns to the ring, where Mr. Wrestling 2 is going to again attempt the body slam. He needs a 7 or lower to execute that. He gets him up, over, and down to the canvas hard, and Rude still favoring that lower back as we say hello to Al, Red Sox fan. And now it is Mr. Wrestling 2 with a big back suplex that puts Rude down to the canvas. Another atomic drop from Wrestling 2, and Rude is up to one knee, and 2 comes in with another series of clubbing blows across the lower back of Rick Rude, weakening his man. The clubbing blows continue, but this time Rude gets to his feet, and on the reversal he grabs Wrestling 2, picks him up, over, and down hard to the canvas with a vertical suplex. Rude has been somewhat weakened, but he's got enough strength in him to get Wrestling 2 over with a suplex. And he's going to follow that up with a hard clothesline that just about turns Mr. Wrestling 2 inside out. Rude follows that up and drops Wrestling 2 with a swinging neck breaker. And Wrestling 2 is now going to crawl out of the ring. And it is Wrestling 2's turn to have to make the helpless crawl back into the ring, where Rick Rude is waiting to take control. Rude's now got him set up for the Rude Awakening. Over and down hard to the canvas. Rude goes for the cover. The pin roll here is 6 or lower, but on a roll of 11, Mr. Wrestling 2 kicks out. Mr. Wrestling 2 just got that right leg over the bottom rope as Rude hit the Rude Awakening, but Wrestling 2 is down. What's Rude going to do? Here's another big pile driver that takes Wrestling 2 down to the canvas. Rude follows that up just as Wrestling 2 gets to his feet. Rude nails him with a hard running lariat. He's going to go for another cover. He'll be pinned on a count of 5 or lower, but on a count of 5 he got him. How about that? Mr. Wrestling 2 is down for the count as Rick Rude wins that one by way of a running clothesline. After dropping Wrestling 2 with the Rude Awakening, Wrestling 2 never really did regain his bearings after that. And much to the joy of CAL VAL, her man has won this match, and that will put him another step higher in the rankings here in the Atlantic Wrestling Federation. But CAL VAL knows that her work is not yet done here tonight, as she now has to stay at ringside. Excuse me, fighting a little cold or an allergy or something here these days. But next up for CAL VAL, her man, CURT HENNIG, is scheduled to defend the Dixie Heavyweight Championship against Barry Windham from the Four Horsemen. And as we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, the SoCal crew of CAL VAL have been feuding with the Horsemen. This is a heel versus heel feud, and I kind of like that dynamic, because just because you are a bad guy does not mean you should automatically get along with all other bad guys. And in this case, it has been a battle of the egos, CAL VAL and James J. DILLON. guiding their respective factions into battle. It was Tully Blanchard who held the Dixie Heavyweight Championship, which he lost to CURT HENNIG. And rather than sign Blanchard to the rematch, Dillon opted to insert Windham into this match tonight for the Dixie Heavyweight Championship. So these two rivals and these two rival factions will be squaring off with the Dixie Heavyweight Championship on the line. CURT HENNIG holds that belt. That is the secondary belt here in the Atlantic Wrestling Federation. All Dixie Heavyweight Championship matches are no disqualification. So there will be no disqualification in this battle, as Hennig and Windham are ready to lock it up. And the opening initiative roll goes to CURT HENNIG. And Hennig is going to go immediately with a whip to the ropes from the opening lockup. Off the ropes comes Windham. He's a good performer off the ropes. Hennig drops down. Windham bounces off the ropes, comes back from the other side. Hennig drops down again. And finally, both men nail each other with running clotheslines. They've got each other scouted, and there is a big collision in the center of the ring. Both men go down, and it will be Hennig getting to his feet first and taking control. And Hennig is going to go with the sleeper, trying to wear down Windham. Windham quickly gets to the ropes to force Hennig to break the sleeper, but Hennig remains in control, and Hennig snapmares Windham over and down to the canvas. Windham is down, Hennig is in control. Hennig with another snapmare. This time Windham powers out of that one, and it is Windham returning fire, with a hard punch to the side of the head, using that gloved fist. Windham wearing those black Texas gloves. I don't know whether he's got those loaded up, but that put a sting into Hennig, and Hennig backs away. Windham follows that up. He's going to try for a inverted atomic drop, and on a roll of 7, he gets him up, over, and down. And Hennig quickly gets to his feet, and they square off once again in the center of the ring. Windham now grabs Hennig by the hair, bends him over, and just rakes the cowboy boot across the side of the face of Hennig, and Hennig is not very happy about that. A knee drop from Windham, and Hennig is back to his feet. Windham now rakes his eyes with those cowboy boots once again, and Hennig is getting very frustrated at this. So CAL VAL screaming at the referee to make him stop. And Windham out of nowhere explodes with a West Texas lariat that knocks Hennig down to the mat. Nice move by Windham. He hit that lariat out of nowhere. And Windham is going to follow that up with another inverted atomic drop. And on a roll of 8, he is successful in doing so. But Hennig is going to bounce back from that, and he fired. And he just slaps Windham across the face. A cocky slap to the face from CURT HENNIG as Windham came in to follow up after that atomic drop. And tempers are starting to flare here in Tampa. What's Hennig going to do now? An arm drag takes Windham down to the canvas. Hennig remains in control. Hennig tries for a chop to the chest. Hennig does not phase Windham, and it is Windham who is going to fire back and grab Hennig by the arm and whip him into the turnbuckle. Off the turnbuckle comes Hennig, and a big kick from Barry Windham nails Hennig and takes him down to the canvas. Windham now in control. Windham is going to try that inverted atomic drop once again. On a roll of 3, he got him down. And Hennig is down. Windham in control, drops the knee on Hennig. Nothing happening there. Windham follows that up with another inverted atomic drop, and he nails that one again. And Hennig is going to return fire this time. He tries for a chop against the chest. Windham is not going to be fazed by that, and he just picks him up and drops him down across the knee once again. And down to the canvas goes Hennig. Hennig back up. These two have each other well scouted. And Hennig with the whip to the ropes. Off the ropes comes Windham. And on a roll of 4, it is Hennig who sets his head too soon. Windham drills Hennig in the back of the head with an elbow smash. And that knocks Hennig down to the mat. Wyndham is going to follow that up, and he is going to pitch Hennig out of the ring, and here we go. Action outside the ring for the first time in this match. This will not be the last time between these two heated rivals. And on a roll of 4, outside the ring, a wild brawl erupts. There is no disqualification in this match, so we're just going to go odd-even. On the even roll, Hennig will win the brawl outside the ring. And on a roll of 2, indeed, Hennig does win the brawl. Back to the ring for the action. And Hennig with the Hennigplex. Gets him up. He's going to go for the cover. It's a little premature, but on a roll of 4 or lower, Wyndham will be pinned. But on a roll of 7, Wyndham kicks out, and the match will continue. Hennig surprised Wyndham with that Hennigplex. And a near fall here after several minutes of action. Hennig is going to follow that up with the axe. Coming off the ropes, nails Wyndham with both fists into the center of the chest. Wyndham slow to get to his feet. Hennig follows that up with a running knee lift. He's going to go for the cover again. But on a roll of 5, Wyndham is still able to kick out, and the match will continue. Hennig's got the momentum on his side now. So CAL VAL very pleased. J.J. Dillon concerned, looking on at ringside as Hennig goes back to the sleeper hold, trying to wear the bigger man down. Wyndham's got about 20 pounds on Hennig in this match and a good 4 inches in height. But Hennig is trying to cut him down to size with that sleeper. And now another running knee lift from Hennig stuns Wyndham. Hennig back with a rolling neck snap, and Wyndham is down. What's Hennig going to do now? He's got the opportunity, and he's going to pitch Wyndham out of the ring. Here we go again with action outside the ring. And on a roll of 11, that is a spectacular move from Hennig. He just hit a standing dropkick on Wyndham at ringside that sends Wyndham crashing into the steel ring post. Wyndham is stunned. Will he be able to continue? Yes, but that's going to cost him a point of fatigue. And at 3 points of fatigue, James J. Dillon is going to get involved here. What is Dillon going to do? We're going to go to the manager interference chart because surprisingly, Dillon does not have a dedicated manager card. He's got a wrestler card. So we're going to use the standard manager interference chart. And on a roll of 5, let's see what happens. Your manager, James J. Dillon, jumps onto the ring apron and distracts the referee to break the count. If there is no disqualification, which there is none, the opponent continues his attack. So Hennig is distracted briefly, but Wyndham does not recover quickly enough, and Hennig will remain on the offense. And Hennig is going to go to the top rope. He's thinking about a death jump. He thinks better of it as Wyndham gets to his feet. And instead, another running knee lift from Hennig stuns Wyndham. As Captain Carl 8 shares with us that at the sports arena where he used to watch his wrestling, there wasn't enough room for outside the ring action. The people in the front row could actually touch and hit the ring apron. Interesting story, Captain Carl. Thanks for sharing that. Hennig is still in control after that running knee lift. And now Hennig is going to go back to the Hennigplex. Hennig goes back to the Hennigplex. The pin roll here now is a 7. And we are going to get the last pin save attempt from James J. Dillon. What's going to happen here? Dillon is successfully able to distract the referee to save his man from the pinfall. And here we go. We have got company at ringside. Here comes Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard to the defense of CURT HENNIG, to the defense of Wyndham, as Hennig just about has Wyndham dead to rights. Quickly from SoCal Val's perspective comes the big cat Ernie Ladd, one of her men, along with Ravishing Rick Rude. We have got now the ring surrounded with allies of both factions. What is going to happen here? As Hennig is still in control, But on a roll of 5, we're going to have some fisticuffs break out. We're just making this up as we go along, fans, but these two factions have been at war, and they will remain at war. Mayhem at ringside, says Steve Tower. And it will be Arn and Tully on the attack as we go to the attack table of my own creation. And on a roll of 9, what is going to happen? The victim, Hennig, is rescued by outside allies. So Hennig is not able to be attacked as Ladd and Rude get there in time to make the save. And on a roll of 6, the brawl is going to continue, and things are going to escalate here. We'll do one gut check roll just to see what happens, and the gut check roll is won by the Horsemen, so the Horsemen are going to win this brawl. And drive Ladd and Rude out of the ring. The brawl continues up the ring apron. And in the middle of all this, Barry Windham is able to take control of the match in the ring. And it is Windham with a figure 4 leg lock on Hennig. In the middle of all this, Windham has trapped Hennig in the figure 4 leg lock. Hennig is down, but he will not submit. Windham follows up with a Sweetwater superplex up high into the air and down to the mat hard. Windham goes for the cover, but Hennig kicks out of that one and the match continues. There's a brawl at ringside. There's a brawl in the ring. Windham is in control, and he keeps the figure 4 leg lock clamped on to Hennig once again. Hennig is down and he is suffering. Now CAL VAL is going to get involved. She's yet to get involved in this match, but Dillon has used both of his opportunities. And on a roll of 4, CAL VAL pulls the referee out of the ring, allowing Hennig to recover and go back on the attack. So once again, CAL VAL works her magic. Hennig is now in control. He's got Windham up for the Hennigplex. The pin roll here is 8. And on a roll of 7, Hennig gets the win. How about that? A wild match as Hennig defeats Barry Windham to retain the Dixie Heavyweight Championship with the assistance of CAL VAL at ringside. The brawl continues on the arena floor between the remaining members of these factions, and it is now Ladd and Rude who have driven Anderson and Blanchard away from the ring, and it is a defeat for the Horsemen at the hands of CAL VAL and her SoCal crew. And in the words of Steve Tower, the title holder is still perfect. Using the Hennigplex, Curt Hennig has successfully defended the Dixie Heavyweight Championship with a surprising win over Barry Windham as members of the Horsemen and members of the SoCal crew were brawling at ringside. So very interesting match there, and another moment of frustration for James J. Dillon and the Four Horsemen as they are unable to capture the Dixie Heavyweight Championship here in that match. Windham is still due a match at the Atlantic Wrestling Federation Championship. That title is now held by the Destroyer, who defeated Windham to take that belt. But tonight was supposed to be a measure of recompense for Windham and for the Horsemen, and Windham couldn't get the job done. So there is still going to be some concern in the ranks of Windham and his associates, James J. Dillon and the Four Horsemen, as the frustration continues for their faction. And now, fans, it is time for the main event of the evening, and this is going to be a doozy. Precious Paul Ellering brings the Road Warriors to battle. They are your Atlantic Tag Team Champions, but they have a big test tonight against the team of Big John Studd and Ken Patera under the management of Bobby the Brain Heenan. So this will be a slobber knocker of epic proportions here on the Epic Sports Broadcasting Network. as the fans here in Tampa still buzzing over the title victory for CURT HENNIG, winning that match against Barry Windham. And now we have the Tag Team Championship on the line. Hawk and Animal, the Road Warriors, versus the Heenan family team of Big John Studd and Ken Patera. All right, this match ought to be a doozy. They had one match that already took place, and that match was won by Studd and Patera by way of disqualification. So the Heenan family did not win the belts, but they managed to provoke Hawk into enough anger to get him disqualified. So tonight's match will be no disqualification stipulations. And I think all 6 men around the ring are perfectly fine with that. And it will be Hawk and Big John Studd to start the match for their respective teams. As the fans are on their feet here at ringside in anticipation. Thomas Morgan, LOD, LOD, LOD. And it will be the opening initiative roll going to Hawk. And Hawk immediately comes at Big John Studd and starts pummeling him with both forearms. And it will be Studd who fires back. And Studd returns fire, picks up Hawk and slams him down to the canvas. Oh, but Hawk gets right back up to his feet. That body slam didn't faze Hawk one bit, as he gets right up, grabs Big John Studd, takes him up into the air, over and down hard to the canvas with a vertical suplex. What an impressive show of strength by Hawk. He body slammed a man nearly 100 pounds, or he suplexed a man nearly 100 pounds heavier after that body slam from Studd had no impact whatsoever. Now it is a jumping fist drop from Hawk onto the head of Big John Studd. Studd's going to fire back, and he just whips Hawk into the corner, and Studd rams his shoulder into the midsection of Hawk against the turnbuckle. Studd follows that up with a clubbing forearm across the back. Hawk just shoves Studd out of the corner back into the center of the ring, where they lock up once again. And it is Studd with the armbar. Little attempted a technical move there by Studd. Hawk just laughs that off, and it is Hawk who follows up with a whip to the ropes. Here's a quick tag to Hawk, and a double clothesline from Hawk and Animal across the head of Big John Studd, taking Big John Studd down to the canvas. That double team, double clothesline executed by the Road Warriors just nailed Big John Studd, and that's going to cost him a point of fatigue early on. Bobby Heenan imploring the referee to get control of this match and not let these ham and eggers get away with that kind of dirty tactic. Animal now in control. Animal with a boot to the midsection. Studd gets to his feet, and it is Studd who grabs Animal, tries to hip toss him over and down to the canvas. Animal is the first one back to his feet, and it is Animal who scores with a standing dropkick on Studd. How about that? Good athletic ability by Animal. They lock up once again. Here's another hip toss that takes Animal up, over, and down to the canvas. Animal thought about a tag, is not going to be able to do so, as Studd follows that up with a big headbutt. Headbutting Animal right between the eyes. They lock up again, and Studd picks up Animal with a big backbreaker. High overhead. Animal once again tries to get out of the ring. He finally does get over to make the tag to Hawk, and Hawk comes into the ring. Studd will tag in Patera, and both teams will start with the fresh man in the ring. The advantage goes to Hawk. As we say hello to James Loris. Good to see you here, James, in the chat room. Welcome to the Epic Sports Broadcasting Network. This is a title defense, the Atlantic Tag Team title on the line. Big John Studd and Ken Patera challenging Animal and Hawk for the championship. And it is Hawk in control with a jumping knee smash to the side of the head of Patera. Patera quickly tags back into Studd, and Studd comes back in to take on Hawk, and it is Studd with another headbutt to Hawk. Stud using that head as a deadly weapon. And Stud maintains control. Stud now with a whip to the ropes. Off the ropes comes Hawk. And on a roll of 9, it's a big shoulder tackle attempted by Hawk, but Stud is the more powerful of these two men. And Hawk hits Stud and drops down to the canvas. Stud roaring his dominance as Hawk is unable to take him off his feet. Stud follows that up with a big body slam, and once again Hawk gets to his feet. And Hawk is not being hurt by these body slams even a little bit. Hawk grabs the head of Stud and takes him down with a crank to the neck. Stud's going to follow that right back up with another big body slam, and this time Hawk is stunned momentarily, and that will give Ken PATERA the chance to tag back into the ring. PATERA now comes in and catches Hawk with an armbar, but Hawk is going to follow that up. Oh, with another big double clothesline. As Animal came into the ring, Hawk made the tag, and they hit another big running double clothesline, and this time it is PATERA who takes the brunt of that blow. Hawk and Animal working together expertly in this title defense here tonight. Animal follows that up with a jumping elbow drop, and Ken PATERA is just going to roll out of the ring. Action goes to the arena floor, and on a roll of 10, it is Hawk who comes out of the ring and tries to hit PATERA with the ring bell. This is a no disqualification match, so Animal indeed hits PATERA with the ring bell, and there's nothing the ref can do about it except for urging the men to get back into the ring. PATERA crawls back into the ring. Animal is on top of him with the camel clutch. PATERA drops to his knees after a painful camel clutch. Animal's going to go to the top rope, and he's going to try a death jump. And oh, on a roll of 9, it is Animal coming off the top rope and nailing a flying clothesline that takes PATERA back down to the canvas. PATERA in some trouble here. Tag to Animal. We're going to tag to Hawk, and the Road Warriors will go to the double team chart. And on a roll of 8, that is a awesome double neck breaker that takes PATERA back down to the canvas. Hawk now in the ring and in control. Hawk now with a gut wrench suplex, nicely executed, takes PATERA up, over, and down to the mat. Hawk follows that up with a drop kick, but PATERA sidesteps that drop kick, and it is PATERA who comes back with a whip to the ropes. Into the ropes goes Hawk. Off the ropes comes Hawk, and here is a powerful flying shoulder tackle from Hawk that takes PATERA back down to the canvas. Hawk won that battle, and now it is Hawk with a whip to the ropes. Off the ropes comes PATERA, and oh, on a roll of 12, it is Hawk with a huge running clothesline that annihilates PATERA and takes him down to the canvas once again. Hawk got all of that one. PATERA has been stunned, and Hawk is now going to go up for the death jump. Here comes Hawk with the death jump, and on a roll of 6, he nails another flying clothesline off the top rope, and that puts PATERA back down to the canvas. Here's a tag to Animal. To the double team chart we go, and another double neck breaker from the Road Warriors puts PATERA back down to the mat. Bobby Heenan is beside himself at ringside as PATERA is taking a pounding. Animal now follows that up, and he is going to pitch PATERA out of the ring. And here we go again to the arena floor. This is the Road Warriors playground. PATERA cannot be happy about this. And on a roll of 11, that is going to be a huge move by Animal as he power slams PATERA onto the arena floor. Big move by Animal that takes PATERA down. Oh, and we may have an injury to PATERA in this situation. This is a no count out match, but PATERA rolled the count out, and in this circumstance, that is a potential injury. So we are going to roll for the injury here. And on a roll of 5, PATERA will escape the injury. But he does take a point of fatigue for that. And he is clearly hurting as he climbs back into the ring. And Bobby Heenan is going to is going to try and interpose himself in this situation. And on a roll of 6 on the HEENAN card, HEENAN trips up the opponent, allowing his wrestler to attack from behind. So PATERA rolled into the ring, Animal followed. HEENAN grabbed the leg of Animal at ringside. That allowed PATERA enough time to recover and go on the counterattack. And it is a big body slam from PATERA that takes Animal down to the canvas. And Animal rolls out of the ring. And it is now Animal who is hurting. What's Animal going to do? Oh, on a roll of 5, he pulls PATERA out of the ring, and a brawl erupts at ringside. This is a no disqualification match, so this will be an odd, even brawl. And on a roll of 6, it is Animal who wins the brawl and takes control for his team. And out of the ring we go once again, and that's going to take us to our ringside shenanigans chart. What is going to happen here? On a roll of 8, we go back to the foreign object chart. Excuse me, no, that should be a 12-sider. That's my bad. On a roll of 10, we're going for outside interference. One of the wrestlers brings in outside interference out of the ring, and it is going to be the HEENAN family that brings in the outside interference. Who will it be? It's going to be Paul Orndorff. We haven't seen Paul Orndorff as part of the HEENAN family for quite some time, but it is a surprise attack for HEENAN, bringing Paul Orndorff back into the fray as we roll on the outside interference chart to see what's going to happen to Paul Orndorff. As Orndorff tries to do some damage here. The roll is a 4. And it is Orndorff attacking the opponent with a deadly specialty move. And Orndorff drops Animal with a pile driver. There is no disqualification. And that is going to allow PATERA to clamp Animal into a full Nelson. The full Nelson has been clamped on by PATERA after the pile driver by Orndorff on the sneak attack. This is a submission move. The submission is 4 or lower. So Ellering is screaming at the referee as Animal is able to break the hold, and the match will continue. But Animal has taken some damage here, and PATERA now is in control. He is going to tag Big John Studd into the match, and on a roll of 5, a running clothesline from Big John Studd puts Animal back down on the mat. He's going to go for the cover here. The pin roll is still only a 3, and on a roll of 6, Animal is able to kick out. Orndorff Ellering watching very closely at ringside, preparing to work some magic if need be, but he trusts his men to get the job done. These men have been through the war before, and Animal's not going to give up the ghost here after a couple of big power moves. He's trusting his man to get back into the match. And now a big double underhook suplex from Studd takes Animal down. And Animal is still not able to make the tag to Hawk. Hawk at ringside is anxious to get back into the ring. He's the fresh man for the Warriors. Animal can't quite yet get to him. And now it is a big atomic drop coming from Big John Studd. And on a roll of 5, he nails it. That's a power move, that's a death jump move on the choice chart. Big John Studd's never been to the top rope in his life, but he hits the atomic drop that takes Animal down to the canvas hard. And Studd remains in control. He's going to try that same move again. And on a roll of 9, once again, it is a struggle. And it is Animal on the agility roll who is successfully able to escape that move. And he follows up with a flying shoulder ram that takes Big John Studd down to the canvas. And that will give Animal finally the chance to tag Hawk into this match. As Thomas Morgan continues to cheer for the Legion of Doom. Everybody's cheering for the Legion of Doom here in Tampa as Hawk charges into the ring, the fresh man in this match. He goes for the jumping fist drop, but he is unable to connect on that as Studd gets up and just shoves him back down to the mat. Stud goes for the big boot. He can't connect with the big boot. And it is Animal who comes back and once again with a very impressive move. Show of strength here as Hawk picks up Stud and slams him down to the canvas with another high vertical suplex. Stud is down and the fans here in Tampa are in awe. Another vertical suplex puts Stud down and this time he stays down. Hawk has got the fans at his back. He flexes and leads the cheers as Hawk now is going to go up for a death jump. Hawk goes to the top turnbuckle. He can fly, and on a roll of 9, he nails Stud with a big flying shoulder, a big flying clothesline off of the top turnbuckle. Hawk follows that up with a gut wrench suplex. He's going to go for the cover. The pin roll here is a 3, and on a roll of 12, Stud kicked out of that one. No questions asked. Stud is not ready to go down after that flurry by Hawk. Hawk still in control. And now action goes out of the ring once again. Out of the ring we go. Big John Stud at ringside, battling it out with Hawk. And on a roll of 9, it is Hawk who prevails and just pounds away at Big John Stud on the floor. Action, and Hawk just pitches him right out again. And on a roll of 9, we're going back to the Mayhem chart. Officials have come and escorted Paul Orndorff away from ringside, so he is no longer a factor. But as we go out of the ring again, this time we are going to go to the foreign object chart. And at ringside, somebody grabs a beer bottle out of the audience, and we've now got a beer bottle in the ring. Hawk and Big John Stud are battling it out over that beer bottle, and it is Hawk who gets control of the beer bottle and smashes it across the head of Big John Stud. Big John Stud has been busted open by the beer bottle. This is a no disqualification match. Anything goes. And John Stud has been busted open. And now Hawk with an over-the-shoulder backbreaker as action returns to the ring. He shoves Stud back into the ring, drops him down with a big backbreaker. And now he tags in Animal. We're going to see another double team and another big double backdrop. Takes Stud up high into the air and down hard to the mat once again. Big John Stud is in trouble here. Here is another boot to the midsection from Animal. Animal taken over on Big John Stud. Whip to the turnbuckle. Off the turnbuckle comes Big John Stud. And Animal nails him with a drop kick. Big drop kick by Animal coming off the ropes. Stud's finally able to get out and make the tag. And Bobby Heenan is tending to his man as Stud is bleeding from the forehead after being hit by the beer bottle. PATERA comes into the ring. PATERA is going to choke his man down from the top rope. Against the top rope. And follow that up with a jumping knee smash. Animal tries to get over for the tag, and he tags in Hawk, and once again the fresh men are back in the ring. As Bobby Heenan is tending to Big John Stud at ringside, and I can't control the dice anymore. Hawk comes into the ring with a big boot to the face of PATERA. Hawk follows that up with a drop kick. PATERA is staggered. Hawk follows that up with a gorilla press slam. High overhead and down to the canvas goes PATERA. Hawk in control. Hawk now with a running clothesline. And that staggers PATERA again. The flurry continues for Hawk with a whip to the ropes. Off the ropes comes PATERA. And on a roll of 6, Hawk drops down. PATERA comes off the opposite rope. And this time on a roll of 10, it is a big double clothesline that takes both men down. Both men are down. The ring rating, the ropes ratings are both B, so that goes to the wrestler on offense, who is Hawk. Hawk is in control as PATERA very slow to get to his feet, and Hawk with another big backbreaker over the shoulder and down to the canvas hard. Hawk methodically picking apart Ken PATERA here, and Hawk now with another drop kick that staggers PATERA. Tag into Animal. Here comes another double team. I've lost my double team chart. Here it is. And on a roll of 5, It is a bone-crunching double clothesline from the Warriors that takes PATERA back down to the canvas. Animal now in control, and the fans go wild. An Animal with a big boot to the midsection. PATERA staggers up to one knee. Animal follows that up with a whip to the turnbuckle. Off the turnbuckle comes Ken PATERA, and on a roll of 5, it is PATERA who lifts a knee into the head of Animal as Animal charged the turnbuckle. That gives PATERA an opening. PATERA with a whip to the ropes. Off the ropes comes Animal, and on a roll of 9, it is a big power move, a big power shoulder tackle. Both men have equivalent power ratings, so it goes to the restaurant offense, which is PATERA. PATERA with a front facelock takedown, trying to slow down the Animal. Animal follows that up with a big elbow hammer across the back of PATERA. Animal now with a scoop slam, tries to get PATERA up, cannot get him up, as PATERA reverses that and drops Animal down to the canvas. PATERA to the second rope, comes off with a knee drop that smashes into the head of Animal. Animal stunned by that. Can he get out and make the tag? No, he cannot. And PATERA now is in control. And PATERA is going to go to the full Nelson. PATERA to the full Nelson. This is a submission move. The roll here is a 6. And we are going to see Ellering attempt the... Let's see, is Ellering going to try the distraction? No, we're going to have Hawk do the pin save. Because he's actually, a pin save from Hawk is actually more effective than the distraction from Ellering in this situation. So Hawk is going to go for the pin save. The submission roll is a 6 or lower. And on the pin save chart, a roll of 7. Hawk tries to get into the ring, but he is stopped by Big John Studd. Studd cuts off Hawk, and on a roll of 6 or lower, Animal is going to have to tap out here. And on a roll of 6, he got him. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? A major upset has taken place here in Tampa as Ken PATERA submits Animal with the full Nelson, and the Heenan family has won the Atlantic Tag Team Championship. I don't believe it. The Road Warriors were in control for most of that match. The Heenan family got some help from Heenan that kept his team in the match. And when the opportunity presented itself, it was Animal who found himself trapped in the full Nelson by Ken PATERA. Hawk was unable to make the save as Big John Studd cut him off. And Animal, I don't think he gave up, but he just kind of blacked out as he was no longer able to respond after those big, powerful arms of the world's strongest human being have put Animal down for the count, and we have new Atlantic Tag Team Champions. Oh my goodness. James Lawrence at ringside says, no! And the fans here in Tampa are in dismay. They do not believe it as Ken PATERA, along with Big John Studd and Bobby the Brain Heenan, celebrate at ringside your new Atlantic Tag Team Champions. Hawk and Animal distraught and frustrated at their inability to defend the titles here tonight, but they are being counseled and consoled by Paul Ellering as Heenan and his men celebrate. Bobby Heenan is in the center of the ring. He is beside himself with joy. He's tapping his temple. PATERA flexes, and Big John Studd just stands there as cool as the other side of the pillow as the Heenan family have captured the Atlantic Tag Team Championship in stunning fashion over the Road Warriors. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what a match we have seen here tonight. What a series of matches. Congratulations again to the Heenan family, Big John Studd and Ken PATERA, your new Atlantic Tag Team Champions. Congratulations also to CURT HENNIG, who successfully defended the Dixie Heavyweight Championship with a victory over Barry Windham in another chaotic situation. And of course, the winner of tonight's opening match, Ravishing Rick Rude, with the win over Mr. Wrestling 2. So that is all from Tampa, from the Sportatorium here tonight as we say thank you to everybody who tuned in. Great crowd tonight. Thomas Morgan, James Lawrence, Al Red Sox fan, Steve Tower, Captain Carl, and I think that was everybody, with apologies to anybody I may have missed coming into the chat room. Let's see, Steve Tower, Bobby, Thomas Morgan, Al Red Sox fan, James Lawrence. I think we got everybody, but thanks to everybody who has tuned in here tonight. And thank you for checking out tonight's broadcast of Heartland Championship Wrestling. From the Dave Cave, this is Dave Little signing off. That's our stream, and I am out of here.